we have another amazing team to introduce you to now, and that is Team Take It Away, Ernie. So I would very much like for Team Take It Away, Ernie, to take it away whenever they want to.
We're team Take It Away, Ernie. And if you've seen the 2004 movie Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, you may have figured out that our project is based on a Harry Potter theme. So let me introduce the team. And our team, we have Lockie, Annalise, Freddie, and me, Lana. Lockie was our product owner and also the client and the visionary. Annalise was our vibes watcher, Freddie was our gatekeeper, and I was the scrum facilitator. Every member of the team also did all the coding for their sections. So when we pass to each team member, we'll talk about the special role they had, but also any code that contributed to the end product. Before we get to that, we want to cover some basics so that everyone here has the same level of understanding. The way websites work, everything you see on the internet is built using three languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So when we talk about functions, that's JavaScript. When we talk about how something looks, that's CSS. And all the words you see on the page is HTML, kind of like a house and the paint and all the stuff in it. So I will now pass over to Lockie, who will talk about the idea for this project.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Lockie. For this project, I was the product owner. So much like Bryn, I was tasked with directing the vision of the project. In this photo here, we've got the MetLink Journey Planner, which this was loosely based on, I would say. It's actually got no real world application. It's more just a fun app. But yeah, so it's the MetLink Journey Planner with a bit of a Harry Potter twist. As the product owner, I feel really proud of the team. The team came together and built something that essentially looks exactly how I thought it should. So big kudos to everyone for that. We had a pretty rocky day one, to be honest. Bit of conflict, but we sort of all sat down, had a really good discussion, figured out all the issues, solved them, and then the other 4 days were just a really good time of writing really cool code, and packing in a ton of functionality. So the app we ended up with lets you plan a magical journey, complete with themed destinations, transportation methods, random encounters along the way. There's mini games, little collectible tickets that are stored on your profile when you reach certain destinations. The encounters range from simple things like seeing owls fly overhead, a little game where you have to catch a flying golden snitch. I've made a huge Harry Potter quiz and a couple other random ones like having to wait because you've had too many butterbeers. These are our wireframes. So these are a planning tool. So we make all these up before we start any coding, just to give us a bit of an indication on how we want everything to look. And then we can refer back to those throughout the project and just check we're all aligning with that. The code I worked on for the project was making all our random encounters work. So obviously, like I said before, I built a quiz, mini game, and then just a bunch of cool little random events. And this little snippet of code here shows the basic functionality of the game I made. So that line at the top essentially just means every 450 milliseconds, the object, in this case, the little golden snitch, will change position randomly, which gives the effect that it's sort of darting around the screen. So that's all for me. I'll pass to you, Annalise.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, so I was really excited to take on the Vibe Watcher role. The Vibe Watcher looks after the well-being of the team, or in corporate speak, they're like the people manager. I thought it was going to be a really cruisy role, but boy, was I wrong. I had my work cut out for me. And our team definitely went through the 4 stages of team development, which is forming, so when the team first comes together, and then storming, where we realized that teamwork is more difficult than we expected. Norming, when the team moves beyond the storming point, and then performing. So this team starts functioning as a high-performing team. So when our team formed, vibes were really high. My role was super easy, and then the storming began. The tensions got pretty high, and vibes were low. Uh, I think that like at one point there was even an argument about eating feijoas with the skin on or skin off. So yeah, tensions were high. Um, and there was also like conflict around what was getting approved and what wasn't. But we came together as a team and we talked it out. And as the vibe watcher, I tried to stay neutral and bring in our learnings from the human skills side of bootcamp. And my words of wisdom was just to not assume the worst of someone and have a conversation with them, tell them what they did and how it made you feel, and then figure out what you can change from that. Um, so anyway, after we'd gone through all these phases, our team really started functioning as a high-performing team. And amongst all of that, as Lockie said, we had some really extensive planning. And part of that was the styling. I'm a big fan of Pinterest boards, so this was right up my alley. Um, and we wanted the experience to be like using the MetLink app, which is the public transport app for planning your journey in Welly. But of course, with the Harry Potter color scheme, and we found this color palette that has hex codes that we can apply in CSS. So all our styling came together really smoothly when we put it into CSS. And now on to the coding side of things. One of my features was the wizarding wallet. So a user can see all the journeys that they've taken, their profile details, and how far they've traveled in total. And I've just pulled out this little piece of code because I feel like it's pretty easy to follow. Uh, I put off calculating the total distance for a long time because I just wasn't sure where to start. But I sat down and it all just came to me. So pretty much the function is called total distance traveled. It starts by declaring the total as 0. It goes through the current user's tickets, and for each ticket, it takes the total distance traveled and adds it to the total, and then returns the total. And then the function is called later in the code to show the total distance traveled for that user. So you can see like under Lisi Lu, it says the total distance traveled. Yeah, now I'll pass over to Lana, who was our Scrum facilitator.
Thanks, Annalise. So the reason I was attracted to this project idea was because Lockie had such a clear vision. It was easy for me to see the end product in my mind, which made it really easy to plan and work towards the end goal. So as a Scrum facilitator, I was responsible for the tasks we all completed, assigning them to people, making sure they progressed to completion, and holding regular stand-ups. So stand-up is a short meeting where we all come together as a team to talk about what we've done, what we've stuck on, and what we'd work on next. And because it was quite a long project, we decided to hold stand-ups 4 times a day, which included well-being checks and checking up on each other. So here's an example of our planning board where we documented all the issues we were working on and assigned them and moved them through all the stages. And luckily for us, they're now all done. So you can see the final product. And here's an example issue. This documents what the person needs to do, what functions they need to implement using HTML, CSS, JavaScript to get it all working. And we also had all the files documented so the person would know which files they need to work on. This was open for discussions. After we built the first few features, team could create their own issue tickets for the board as they uncovered new bugs or thought of new features. In terms of the code that I completed, I worked on the journey planner and the little footsteps that you'll see on the map. Notable features here were the Deathly Hallows symbol for the drop-down, and you see when you click it, it turns upside down. And there are also checks on the form, so you can't travel unless you pick a location, and you can't travel to the same location where you already are. And once you have selected a destination, you can pick a mode of transport and use that to set off on your journey, and the footprints will show you where you're going. So this is a small snippet of the code that controls this function. As you can see, it's quite extensive. And I really enjoyed working with this team, and I felt like everyone contributed equally, and everyone had a very important role to play to bring it all together. I'll now pass over to Freddie, who will speak about his role as the Git keeper.
Thanks, Lana. My name is Freddie, and I was the Git keeper for this project. My role as Git keeper is to review all of the code before it gets added to the project. to help us maintain a clean and working code base at all times. Any code that I write gets reviewed by our backup Git keeper, who is Annalise. Because I'm the person submitting most of the updates to the project, it's important for me to let the team know when those updates come through, make sure everyone's always got the latest version. As part of my review process, I'll check that the code is matching our agreed naming conventions, a folder structure, make sure there's no bugs or old comments or old code. When reviewing, I do have the option to send code back to be updated and then resubmitted. I can make small changes myself if it's something easy, or I have the option to completely reject a submission and close it out completely, which awesomely I wasn't required at all this entire project, although it did technically happen once as an accident. In the beginning of the project, I was quite strict with my Git keeping review process and sent a few commits back, but we found that progress was slower than it should have been. I ended up easing up my restrictions, and towards the end of the project, I really let these cowboys run free and build a quite incredible app that you'll see very shortly. One specific contribution that I made to the code of this project was setting up the authentication and registration. We used Auth0, a free service to allow users to sign in with an email address and a password. Once they are signed in, they could then register to our internal database where they select a name, they select an avatar image, or if they want, they can upload their own image from their computer. I created the sign up form, which you can see on the page there. This is the HTML and CSS side of things. And I also created the functions to add the user into the database on the server side, which is the code you'll see at the top, and that is the JavaScript side of things.
So we're going to go in, Lockie, we've got a little pre-recorded video where Lockie is going to show us a demo of our app. And also Freddie, I believe, is going to post a link in the chat, and you guys can go and play along too. So yes, over to Lockie.
Awesome, thanks Lana. So yeah, I'm just going to take us through a quick little demo of our app, Take It Away Ernie. So on the front page here, we've got this I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good button. So this is essentially casting that spell to get the map, which will fade in, and then we get all these buttons appear. So we can either plan our journey, but for the sake of this, we're going to log in. So this is largely what Freddie worked on. This is OAuth, so this lets you sign up. I've got an account already, so I'm going to just go log in, enter my password and hit continue. And this will take us here, so you can set your name, or you can choose one of these default avatars or upload your own avatar. So we can go here, choose a file. I've got this one here, this little monkey, so we're going to use him. Click submit and we get this thanks for registering Lockie pop up. Click it off and we'll go back here. So this takes us back to the map where we can plan our journey. So we'll hit this button and these are all drop down lists that have locations that correspond to our map. So we'll do a little one here. We'll go from Hogwarts to Hogsmeade, hit take it away in, and we might go by the night bus here. So I'll click this and you'll see the footsteps appear like they do on the Marauders map in the movie, which is quite neat. And oh, we've encountered something. So on this journey we've come across the old lady, so we've got to click this button below to start our countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 3.5, 2, 1 3/4. Yes!
There we go. So we passed our encounter, we've arrived at Hogsmeade, and we get a bit of a blurb about what we've done. So we started in Hogwarts, went by the night bus, we went 5Ks, came across the old lady, and we made it to Hogsmeade. And then from there we get presented with this ticket. So these are like little collectibles for completing journeys. So we can collect that. And now if we go into our Wizarding wallet, we should see that. There we go. So there's our ticket displayed. Gives a bit more detail about what we've done. And over here we've just got like an overall distance counter. Back to the map and we'll do another one, We'll go Godric's Hollow to Privet Drive, go by Broomstick.
Take her away, Ern.
So this is the little mini game that I built here, and we've got to catch the snitch. So every miss we get, the snitch gets faster, but for the sake of this I'm just going to snag it, and we get here again. We get our ticket, which we can collect, which again displays in our little wallet. So we'll go back here, just do a quick one, go King's Cross to Hogwarts, obviously by train,
Take her
around the
away,
train
Ern.
station.
Yeah, take it away, Ernie.
And we've had too many beers, too many butterbeers, so we've got to wait 20 seconds. And there we go, we can carry on. And we made it. So again, we get the blurb, and okay, so along the way we came across the leaky cauldron, indulged in a few too many butterbeers, but we got there in the end and got our ticket. So that'll display there. So yeah, Annalise has put in a ton of good work getting this looking like it does, making it all function properly. And yeah, it's come out awesome. So big kudos to her. Likewise for Lana with this page here, she's done a lot of this work, if not all of it. All these drop downs work perfectly.
Whereabouts are you heading?
There's little audio cues around the place, and yeah, it just all looks real crisp and polished. So super proud. And that's basically it, really. So I'll hit this and log out, and then yeah, pass it back to you, Lana.
So that concludes our presentation. We thank you for your time, and we welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, team. Amazing presentation again. I'd like to take a moment for everyone, if we can, to show appreciation for the team once again. Awesome project. Really, really fun that we get to play it afterwards as well. It's going to be really awesome. So, any questions for the team? Feel free to pop them in the chat, or you can unmute and ask them yourself.
I'm going to steal David's question from earlier and ask, if you had another 7 days, what would you work on? What new features? What new mini games? Any other fantasy realms will you venture to?
Yeah, so I think we sort of worked on one piece each. So for me, it was having like location based specific encounters. So there's like an encounter there where Vernon Dursley will stop you, and you can either stun him, distract him, beg him for mercy, or kill him. But we wanted that to only pop up if you're leaving from Privet Drive, and then a bunch of other ones like there's a Dementor encounter, so we wanted to have that only happen if you could take the Hogwarts Express and other things like that. So if I had 7 more days, that's probably what I would try put in there.
I think we also wanted to add a leaderboard, so you could, even if you're not logged in, you can see all the users and how long they've traveled, like their total distance traveled for all the users that exist in the database.
Awesome. Another question that came through in the chat from Matt. Did you have any challenges integrating your code with each other? There's so many features.
Really, I'll get Keeper. I feel like you'll know the most about that.
I don't think it was too much of a challenge. We set out some good TypeScript models right from the start, some kind of guidelines for how we want our data to be shaped and handled, and that really helped everyone kind of integrate their parts together. So no, it was pretty good. Only small bumps to get over.
Cool. I have another question. In terms of the mini games and the events, was that team created? Did you all come up with those together, or was that Lockie's idea fully?
I can't even remember at this point, honestly.
I think it's mostly Lockie with came with all the questions in the games. Yeah.
One thing that I said early on, it's kind of throwback to Freddie saying someone was a cowboy, that one day Lockie just woke up and just vomited out all the ideas. it was just like pages and pages of quizzes and games, and we were like, what is happening? So we had to rein him a bit. And then after the code freeze, he added another 20 questions to the quiz.
Cool. That's really great. Any final questions for the team?
I have another question. How did you decide which houses you were in with your backgrounds? I hope you got sorted into them.
Lana's actually never seen Harry Potter, so she's got no idea. She just picked the one with birds on it because she likes birds. And I picked Hufflepuff because that's my house. And then, yeah, Freddie was given Gryffindor. Lockie picked Slytherin. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Explain
I just
That's my
took what was
house.
left.
I had to pick one to pre-record the video, so I got to pick way before everyone else.
Nice. I think it's a testament to the project and how well the organization was on the ideas end for Lana to be able to jump in and build this whole website without knowing Harry Potter much at all. So, really awesome work, team. One more round of applause for the team. Thank you very much for your presentation. Awesome work. And that concludes both of our presentations for tonight. I hope you have enjoyed them.